But it's a Rover. Yeah, but it's a GTI. Good morning and welcome to this random, I suppose it will be a Wednesday video. I'm just going to level that up. Reason why I thought I'd just jump on today and I suppose just have a random little chat is more so because of the surroundings, the landscape. I don't suppose you can see. I'll tell you what I'll do. If I click this button here, hopefully it'll swap around so that, there we go, I'm in the top corner now, and then this is the surroundings of me. It's foggy as anything and it's awesome. I absolutely love it. So it's about 5:15 in the morning. I'm heading over to the train station, hence the reason why I've got my mildly Macy Gray voice going on. And I'll tell you what, one of the things I really do love about the Fens is just, I suppose I like the landscape, but then it's the way that it interacts with the weather. And a good example of that is no fog now because I've just moved, I think, about 2 meters above sea level. That's the thing with the Fens, it's low-lying landscape. And so because of this, you get a lot of, I can only describe it, I like to use the term ancient Britain look. So, you know, when you see all the films and it used to be like misty and murky and there'd be like these old trees everywhere, and yeah, it's just a really unique landscape with what looks like really unique, I suppose, outlook on things, or weather patterns, or weather patterns. It's just as misty. Like, look how it sits on top of the river. That's cool as anything. I think it is anyway. Yeah, I just wanted you to see that little bit of outside because yeah, it's cool. The Fens, it's flat, but at the same time, it's pretty. Fair enough, I get people like rolling hills. Fair enough, I understand that when you've got the undulations within inside the landscape, it can create some rather quite beautiful looking areas. It can be very pleasing to the eye. And the flatness and the fact that almost everything is used for farming out here, or just random industry. I'm sure you can see in the distance you've got the smokestacks from the Whittlesea brick pits, which I believe has been going on for like, I think it was 150 years or something like that. It's a very big industry in this area, was the brickyards. In fact, a lot of the guys, or a lot of the people, not just guys, a lot of the people that lived in Stanground, which is an area of Peterborough that I used to live in, it's got a lot of Italians that live there. They also live in an area called Fletton in Peterborough, and they moved over after the Second World War, and a lot of the guys worked in the brickyards. In fact, the house that I used to work in, I suppose I did technically work in it because I lived in it while working from home, but no, the house that I used to live in, my next door neighbour, her husband actually built the houses that were in that area. And yeah, so I suppose I ended up living next door to the builder's wife as such. I suppose it was a lot of people that built the houses, but I just found it rather quite interesting that she also lives in a house that essentially her husband, well, he worked on London Brick, which is what that company there is, and then besides working for London Brick, he also helped build the houses. So he made the bricks and then he built the house. So that's yeah, that's cool, that is, or at least I think it's cool. But back off of that tangent. So yeah, I just love the way that the Fenlands actually is. As you can see, it was all misty a moment ago, or rather 2-3 minutes previous in the video, and now look at it. It looks as though there's no mist, or except for on the river, as it sits on that looks really cool. Yeah, and then the mist sort of disappears away. And one of the bits I like as well, as you'll see in a minute, there's this little hill that we sort of go over as you come off of the north bank, and then it just changes again when you get into this weird sort of like, not weird, but like this little housing bit where you got the bits on each side. Here we go. That bridge there that you can see in the distance, that's Millennium Bridge, built to celebrate the millennium. Yay, we made it. Up and over this little crest, and around we go. Boom. There we are, a couple houses each side. And then a national speed limit sign, which, not gonna lie, is yeah, not wise to be driving the national speed limit down here. It's got a lot of hidden bends. It's like that advert, isn't it? Slow down for country lane hidden bends. There we go, around here. hopefully once we get past this random house which is over there, you'll be able to see some more fog. I'm hoping we are. Unfortunately, we didn't quite catch sunrise this morning, because sometimes when the sun hits it, it looks absolutely stunning over here. In fact, there is a nice little bit of red light there. Hopefully if we turn the car around as we drive around, can we see it? Just going to drive like that so you can sort of see it in the corner. Oh, van. There we go. Right, first field on the left hand side, or left hand side to me, no fog. The right hand side, which you can't see in the camera, full of fog. But as we come along to the next field after this car, loads of fog again. It's just all sat just ever so gently on the field itself. I think it looks cool. It's some proper Silent Hill sort of looking stuff. It's a bit, oh yeah. I don't know why I like it. I just do. That's one of the reasons that sort of drew me to the area. I suppose I've always weirdly liked the Fenlands. It's sort of the closest you're ever going to get to going to the Netherlands without actually having to go into the Netherlands. Yeah, I'm sure I said previously before that the Dutch are the reason why the land's the way it is. So everything used to be like this peaty boggy marsh, and then they came along, and because they had a lot of experience in land reclamation, which is bringing back land that previously would have been under the water, and you know, well, I suppose making use of it, turning it into farmland. What they did is they essentially dug tons of drainage channels, which are known as dikes. Questionable word, but dikes, I believe it's probably a Dutch word because it's an unusually spelt word, and use that to help drain out a lot of the land. There's also countless pumping stations around the Fenland region. There used to be at some point, I'm guessing well over 50. I'm sure a real number will appear in the screen. But no, they built a load of pumping stations. There's still some pumping stations that are active today. Those pumping stations maintain the water level where it needs to be. Let's turn that camera a bit around again so you can see me. Oh, got another car coming. This is always questionable, this junction, because sometimes it's really busy and sometimes there's just no cars whatsoever. There we go. Yeah, so they built a load of pumping stations, and then those pumping stations have been consistently pumping the land and keeping the water out for well over 100, 150, 200 years, probably even longer than that. They used to be steam powered, and then I guess diesel, and now electric. There's no pumping station in Whittlesea. I do know that I think there's 3 main large ones. There's one near Wisbeach. As for the other 2, I'm not too sure. I saw one of them Sutton Bridge. I couldn't remember the other one. Maybe it's near Downham Market. Very posh town, Downham Market. Very nice though. It's where my auntie and uncle used to live. In fact, it's where my mum's grandparents, or what would that be? My great grandparents used to have a farm down there. Not anymore. Not anymore. They got sold off many years ago. It is what it is. It's an easier life working in the town or in the cities than it is working on the farm. Right. Good old Sainsbury's. Petrol station's closed. All the lights are off. This is my commute, by the way. Incredibly exciting. The fact that I get to drive across a multitude of landscapes. Not only do I get to tickle the countryside, so housing estate down by the river, which I'm pretty certain is a lyric from the Arctic Monkeys, across over the bridge, well, over the crest, over the bridge, for another little bit of countryside, where it looks like, I think they grow cabbages there. Very Fenland / Lincolnshire thing. We're on the cusp of Lincolnshire here as well. In fact, we border many counties. You've got the Unitary Authority of Peterborough, you've got Cambridgeshire South, Rutland just around the corner, Leicestershire just around the corner, Derbyshire just around the corner, the historic county of Huntingdonshire just around the corner. In fact, Peterborough actually used to be in Nottinghamshire. And then once we do that, we drive into a small little bit of housing estate, past the supermarket, There's a little bit of industry you got to go past as well. In fact, that bit that I've come out to just after going over the small bridge near the crest, Eastern Industry, which is full of industry. Hop on the dual carriageway for, well, 60 seconds. I'm sure if you look back at the timing of the video, it'll tell you exactly how long you have to do that for. Spin around that roundabout next to a triangular shaped, you know, like an A-frame building. So I suppose it's shaped like a slice of pizza. It's the Pizza Hut building, which, strange shape. I'm guessing it was an architectural decision that was made in the 1980s, one that should be appreciated more. Down this road, over a roundabout, down Burley Road. If you're from Peterborough, you'll know Burley Road. It's famous or infamous for being the location that individuals who generate income via illicit means, often by sale of their body. It's not the glamorous side of Peterborough, shall we say, but I'm sure many of you who've been here will say that there's not really a glamorous side of Peterborough. Horton Wistow, come on mate, that's very posh over there. Yeah, so we come down here. This is just near the City Park. It's not the City Park, not Central Park, FYI, this is City Park. In fact, on the right hand side, that's where my nan spent the last of her days in care home there. Those of you who love the Conservatives, with the Conservative Club on the side here. Those of you who don't love the Conservatives, it's a good thing I've driven past them, isn't it? Okay. Right, little roundabout. This is Burley Road. In fact, that is that pub on the side there, that's the old Burley. There's a hotel down here, the Rosalia Hotel. Many years ago, when my dad worked for Perkins Engines, he used to work on the China team, so a lot of Chinese people would come over and stay in the De Rosalia Hotel. Ironically though, the De Rosalia ended up being one of them places where supposedly people would go to spend time with said ladies of the night on Burley Road. And when I say supposedly, I don't know if it's true, it's just something people used to say. Drive down this bit, lovely little part as you get towards town. Nice and early, so you had all the guys sat out there getting ready. That building used to be known as Zenith Window. It's basically where they collect everybody to go to work in like Backable or Bourne Salads, which is one of the large factories that a lot of people have jobs in. Here we go, set traffic lights, which is usually green. I'm guessing it's red just because of that one car that's gone past. Shouldn't take too long to change. I believe that's Bauer Media, the building on the corner. There we go. That building straight in front of us, that's used to be John Lewis. In fact, we're one of the only places where the John Lewis shut down. Turn around here and boom, we're in the car park. Good old NCP. So Peterborough is well known for absolute daylight robbery for car parking. I have absolutely no idea why. It's just a really expensive place to park your car. In fact, we've got one of the most expensive car parks at the train station. So the station is £20 a day to park your car, which is absolutely extortionate. Whereas here, on the other hand, it's a £5 or £4.95 they charge me, and you do it through the app, and they look after your car. Park in the same car parking spot I always park in because it's right next to a little crack in the fence, so that I can walk straight to the station. Anyway. Thank you ever so much for listening to me ramble on for the last 15 minutes about stuff that's not really that particularly important while I chat along the commute. Maybe what I should do is think of something that's more interesting to talk about while I'm on my commute, and then that way I can portray across some motoring news or just some general news. Maybe not general news, it's not exactly the most exciting. Motoring news, or anything that's interesting. Let me know what you think would be an interesting topic to hear about once a week while I drive to my commute on the Wednesday morning. Thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe the videos, I'd really love it. I see that the numbers are counting up, which I'm absolutely buzzed about. As we speak right now, I've got 51 of you that are subscribed to the channel. I know it don't seem like big numbers to possibly all the, the people with the hundreds, the thousands, the hundreds of thousands and the millions out there, but to me, I really appreciate the fact that everybody's taking the time to listen. If you did listen to this video about me prattling on about random tat while I'm on the commute, maybe that's what I should call it, the commute, I appreciate it. Thank you ever so much. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ta-ra.